Hello everybody, welcome if this is your first time finding me, or welcome back if you've been here before. I'm Jimmy and this is First Gen Mini Rescue. Today I'm going to tackle something that, or in this video, I don't know if I'll be finished with it today, but this video I'm going to tackle something that I've been kind of putting off because I was a little, intimidated by doing it, but I'm going to try it. If it works, hopefully it works. If not, then I might be buying a new transmission. Anyway, let me read the fortune and then tell you what's going to happen or hopefully happen today. For those of you who know, this one is my SetSail Caribbean book that I spent 5 months on a 47-foot sailboat sailing the Caribbean with a friend of mine. He was 77 at the time, years old, and I was 44 at the time. And this is the picture of the actual boat. Anyway, I think that was St. Lucia, maybe. Anyway, so if you're interested in that book is available on Amazon. As is the fortune cookie book. And I read a fortune every time. So if you stay with me for 2 years, I think I figured it out, you'll listen to all of the fortunes. If I do one a week for 2 years, you'll hear all of the fortunes. You don't have to buy the book. Just a little tip, Anyway. Today's fortune says, seize every second of your life and savor it. Seize every second of your life and savor it. I don't know about every second. I mean, you got to sleep and you're not savoring it then, or maybe you are getting caught up on sleep. But I think it just means, use your time wisely and do things you enjoy or just the things that you're doing. Really feel them, you know what I mean? In Iceland, I think it's Iceland, but I'm not sure about the country, but there's a saying called Nixon, and that's like the art of just doing nothing but enjoying where you are or at the moment, enjoying the moment, I think. But it's something like that. And you don't have to be doing anything. It could be just hanging with friends, just talking about old times or whatever. But if you're from Iceland and I got that wrong, put the comments in the comments and let me know. But it's Nixon or something like that. Anyway, and my pronunciation may be way off too. Anyway, that's it. So today, I think if you look at my list here, the blue R52, this is the convertible, 2005. I don't need to put the years. But on my list, a new battery, I should have a question mark on there because I might not need one. But the trans valve body, new filter and fluid. That's what I'm going to tackle today. I'm not actually going to change the transmission valve body itself. I'm just going to change the 6 solenoids that go in there. I had went to the salvage yard and I got a couple of different valve bodies from a 2012 Mini, and I think the other one was a 2009, a 2009. Mini Cooper. The first one was a 2012 MINI Cooper S, and it was automatic, and so this is the only automatic that we have. And it's we've had the car 6 years. I looked at the paperwork. 6 years we've had it, and I've never changed the filter in the transmission. Never checked the fluid in the transmission. We just drove it in the season, parked it in the winter, and then changed the windshield wipers or whatever, and drove it again. Fixed the top when it was not operating. But other than that, now it's time to do that. And I changed the brakes. I had a big long list that I've whittled down. There's maybe 2 or 3 things that, oh, this is not right. Rebuild seatbelts. That goes on another car. Anyway, there's a couple of things on the list that I added because safety-wise or whatever. But I'll update the board here later. But anyway, what I was saying was I'm going to change those solenoids. But before I do that, I got to move some things around. So let me show you what I'm going to move around. Okay. I decided that instead of doing the work out here on the ground, I was going to move my trailer. This is my yard mule. It's just a riding lawnmower. But I was going to move this. And I've got a pad under here with pavers. 12 by 12 inch pavers that we used to have a chicken coop under there. So what I'm gonna do is move that out of the way, probably put it back here so I can load the wood on it, and put the car there and do the work right there. So that's more of my thinking right now. I had a squirrel in a tree over here. Anyway, so that's my thing. That way the jack will work better. I can get the car up on jack stands and I don't have to worry about moving it in certain places. So I'm gonna move this out the way and put the car over there. So that's when I'm gonna start. I went ahead and moved the, the yard mule. I call that a yard mule because there's no mower deck on it, and I just use it for moving the trailer around. Put the trailers next to the, wood piles and stuff. And I've got the Mini sitting on the pad here. This is where I'm gonna be doing this work. I'll be able to get the jack under there, lift her up, put her on jack stands. It's leaning a little bit toward the back of the car, so I'm gonna have to jack the back up higher than the front when it comes time to check the level in the tank, in the transmission pan. But it'll be fine right there. In preparation for doing this job, I kind of cleaned off my my toolbox top here to use as my inside semi-clean work surface. I kind of organized a little bit better my storage shed here because it was a mess, and it still is, but a little progress, little at a time. Anyway, what I'm going to do first, the first thing is remove the solenoids from the donor valve body, which is a 2012 MINI Cooper S hardtop. So I don't know what the R number is. It could be R56 or something like that. I really don't know. I can look it up and I'll put it down there maybe. But anyway, 2012 MINI Cooper S automatic. I'm going to remove the 6 solenoids that normally you replace from the donor valve body. I had to go get some reader glasses for some really close-in detail work. Really, it's not. I'm just going to take these clips out. In my haste to get the donor unit out, I just cut them because I knew I was coming home. But I got a really small screwdriver here, a pick. I got a pick and a screwdriver. Okay, I'm going to give you this close up. These are the solenoids in order. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this one up here is this one, and this one here is the biggest one here. This bracket, 8mm screw or bolt or whatever you want to call it, holds in these two with their pins, and then this bracket here with 2 of the 8mm hold in these 4 pins. What you need to notice, these all have the same size pins, so it doesn't matter, but there's one pin that's extra long and it's for the biggest solenoid. And so it's very important when you put these back to use the right pins in the right locations. So these are my donor solenoids. This is my donor valve body here. I'm going to put this in, I keep it in I had it in a 5-gallon bucket because it's forever leaking transmission fluid because of all of the little passages and everything. So yeah, I'm just going to put it back in the bucket. I don't need it. There are some other brackets here and they're holding other solenoids. These are off and on, and the bottom solenoids here they're either off or on, and they very rarely fail, but I'm going to keep them. And yeah. Okay. So now I've got to go jack up the car and put it on jack stands, and then yeah, start taking the oil pan down and draining the fluid, of course. Take the oil pan down and start to remove the valve body. Now, I might not be able to show exactly everything underneath, but it's the same as if you go back to when I was in the salvage yard and I picked up the donor valve bodies. It's the same exact procedure, except I'm not going to cut the wires. I'm going to take my time and use the pick and unplug each wire because they got to get plugged back in, whereas the donor car, you know, it didn't. So yeah, so that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm going to go do. And I'll bring you guys out there once I'm done with the car up and safe and ready to go. Okay, I got the car up on the jack stands, 4 jack stands. It's a little nose high, but that's fine because I got to get under there and you know, take the oil pan and off and the valve body out. But when it comes time to fill, all I have to do is drop it down a notch on the jack stands and it should be pretty much level. It doesn't have to be like, you know, laser level, but level is good. So when it comes time to do that, I'll just lower it down a notch or so just to make it level. I've got other extra things to take off here because of the way I do things. So the cross brace has to come back off because I'm going to loosen up the air box, or maybe not the air box, but definitely the oh, what do you call that? The computer over there, because I want to loosen up the bolts for the transmission mount, because I use a jack and push up the engine to get access to that T30 that's hard to get to in that back corner behind the brace. Some people drill an extra hole. I don't. I just lift the side of the engine. You only got to lift it a 1/2 inch to, you know, and take the wheel off. But lift it up a 1/2 inch or so, and that'll allow you to clearance. Anyway, so I'm going to get under here. I've got to remove the little air ducting that goes to the cooling fan for the power steering so that I can get access to the other bolts. I got my drain pan here. I'm going to drain it. I probably got to use a pair of vice grips to get the old drain plug off because it's all boogered up. And yeah, so I'll get on to the work. You don't need to see that. I'll bring you back when I got that done. Well, that was something else, I tell you. I had the hardest time getting the oil pan off. I loosen up the transmission mount. There's 3 16mm bolts that hold the transmission in, or the transmission mount. 2 short ones and 1 long one in the center. But I removed those so I can kind of lift the engine a little bit to get to that 1 T30 bolt that's in the front corner there, or the I guess it would be the back driver's side corner. But I destroyed my pan getting it out. So it sits, if the front of the car is that way, it sits here. So it's the back corner on the driver's side. But I ended up taking a just a little saw tool and cutting enough to where I can just rip the pan out. I got a replacement pan. If you can see here, it's all beat up, bent up, bashed up. So I had gotten a replacement pan from the salvage yard anyway. So that was not an issue. But that bolt was rusted. It was seized in there. It's still stuck in there. But I wanted to get the pan out of the way and the valve body out of the way before I tackle that. And that won't be until probably Tuesday, because tomorrow we're supposed to have rain all day. But as you can see, these are the large canisters. And by comparison, there's the small canisters. This part's still the same basically, but the canisters are what the problem is for these. So I'll be just replacing these, putting this valve body back into that transmission. The magnet, I cleaned them off, but they weren't that dirty. They didn't have a lot of schmooze on them, like friction material, the metal, whatever. So it wasn't a lot on there. Yeah, I'm just assuming that these 6, these 4, and then these 2 will be bad, or just I'm going to replace them, put everything back, and then like I said, there's 4 pins. These 5 actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The pins are the same size. This pin is a little bit longer, so just beware of that. And these canisters are large. They sit down pretty much on top of the valve body. However, the other canisters are a little bit smaller, so there is a little gap, but that's normal. That's the way they came out of the valve body on the original. And every video that I've watched, that valve body, it just sits slightly proud, not bad. But again, I'll take off these 2 8mm. I'm going to use all the same hardware on this one. I took dozens of pictures, removing the plugs, putting the plugs back, or running the route of the wires, everything, because it has to go back the same way. The different brackets and everything, I have them sit in my tray here. There's 12 bolts that hold this up, and of those 12 there are various sizes, so I have them from front to back, passenger side, driver's side. So you do yours the way you do it. I've seen people draw the shape and cut the cardboard out and just put each one in the cardboard. You know, you can do that, especially if you already have another pan, or if you have the gasket. Just kind of mark the holes where they're supposed to go, take one out, put it in that hole. That way you don't get confused putting everything back. Like this. We'll call this a confused mess. These are all of the extra bolts, nuts, and whatever else, brackets and levers that I took from the salvage yard. So in case I lost one, broke one, or just needed a replacement. So I have this in this here, however, just as a backup. And I'll mark it, put it in a canister or a Ziploc bag, and just mark it mark it the Aisin transmission. Aisin Warner. I don't know how to pronounce it, but anyway, Aisin Warner transmission for the Mini. Well, I'll just write Mini automatic, and I'll know those are those bolts, because now there's 2 automatics. Mine the blue one, and then my neighbor, his red one is automatic. So we'll have extra parts. I also have another donor valve body with the small canisters that once I get mine done, if he wants to change his, we got enough parts to do that. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm going to close this out. If you need to see getting the throttle body, I keep saying that, the valve body out of the transmission, you can look at the video that I did from my happy place, one of the last ones. It should have popped up back there, but it'll also be in the description, that video from when I was at the yard. That's the easiest way to see it, because under here, it was just too much, and I knew once I didn't want to get too frustrated taking that off. I did what I had to do. I'll get that nut out, or the broken bolt, and I'm going to use a 10 millimeter. I believe the reason they don't use the 10 millimeter is that you need a thin wall 10 millimeter in order to really get it back up and get it in the torque spec. But it fits. It's the same thread size and everything, thread count. They just, I don't know. Maybe it was just easier for them to do it off the car with that 30. There was two 30 T30s. It was one located here and one located here. Terrible. They'll all be 10 millimeters because you can get a wobbly 10 in there, or a long 10 millimeter. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna close this one out for today. Come back tomorrow. It might be on the same video, depends on how long it is. But if not, part 2 will be coming up shortly, getting it back in, or changing out these solenoids. So, all right, peace, y'all.